Hey guys, I'm about staffed. I've had a pretty big day. Um, I'll come right eventually. I'll be back to normal. But look at around 7 o'clock. I'm thinking I should be in bed. It's a bit crap. Um, Evening, Stuart. Peter. Who else is there? Peter and Stuart. Stuart. Peter. Says there's four. And Bill. Um, I'm sitting here at the table and I really can't be bothered getting up, but I did reach for my phone and Mark and sort out this live stream. So that's as far as I've got. I've got emails that I was going to sit down to answer and I unfortunately haven't even done that. It's a bit slack. A little bit slack. Made a lot of handles today, repaired a couple of machines, all that sort of stuff. Normal Wednesday. Most afternoon on my own. It's all good. Anyway, that's right today. Oh, gee, bit slack, really. What did I do the weekend? That's what everyone's dying to see, I guess. Can't remember. I went to Brisbane. Loaded up a van full of crap. Put it back down and unloaded it. That was about my weekend. That was sort of it. What did I do? Nothing particularly. A lot of boxes with tools in them, sets and cases and things. A van full of it basically, and a few trestles and shelves and a stack of plywood, a few projects, all that sort of stuff's down the shed. There's no lights yet. Still sort of things to organise with the shed. I don't know where we're going with that or what's happening. But we're moving, and I'm moving down here because I'm keeping the job. And whether I stay here or what happens, I don't know. But at this point, I'd like everything to happen and work. But keeping the job and moving everything down anyway. But I'll see how comfortable we get. That sounds a lot more complicated than it is. I'm sure everything will work out. Sunday morning, went up to the Trades Guild for a bit. No, it's not an ankle. Picked up a casting on several that I had to collect. We ought to have a look at that when I can be bothered getting up. Saturday they moved the loco around and finished the track and moved the loco around. So there's quite a bit going on out there, and we'll go and have a look at that too. What else? It's pretty warm today. It's 36 degrees, something like that. It's really nice. Yeah. Did catch up with Mark and the Shed Dogs and Mrs. Shed Talk. What else did I do? Oh, I had a list of things that I was going to get done, and I'm not sure how much of it I did get done. I've got to really get some tyres on the van before I go again, but I've got to go up Friday night anyway, so I'm going to try and get an appointment to put some tyres on Friday afternoon. That's where we're at with that. Oh my gosh, I'm tired. bit sleepy. Oh. Sorry, guys. Okay, I'm going to have to get up, aren't I? That's how we are. So, anyway. So much for article writing and all that sort of stuff that I was going to do when I sat down, because it didn't happen. This is one casting, and this is a casting I've sort of been messing with for a while, and it's still not perfect, but I think we're going to live with it. Not many vacant houses here, actually. It's a bit of a yuppie as far as finding a rental, but we'll find something if we got to. Anyway, this is the agent's plate of the roller, or for the roller. It still needs a bit of a clean up. It's not quite right. It's a pretty rough cast yet. It's quite thick because of the size of it. Whatever anyone says, casting something like this in brass and a thin plate, it's a bit of a challenge. You say it's easy, you learn a lot, you know a lot and all that stuff, but it is quite a thick plate. So it's going to need a skim off the back with a milling cutter or a fly cutter or something, so I have to think about that. Don't know how to even attempt that or make it work. Probably some edge clamps, I don't know. Put it down on some parallels and clamp it down and run a fly cutter past it on one side and then clamp the other side and do the same. I don't know. Doesn't really matter much what it's like on the back, but it does need to be quite a bit thinner, because this weighs about, 8-9 kilos at the moment. It's quite big. There's my hand. So that's something we've done. This goes on the offside, on the road side actually. This goes on the road side of the roller, steering side, on the motion cover. Super glue and tape seems a bit sort of fragile for it. I've got some edge clamps that probably would clamp it okay down on a parallel. Pack it right and get it right. It's not flat on the front, which is a bit of an issue. I don't think anyone's going to notice, but it is a bit higher here and it's a bit lower here, so it's not really going to clamp on anything flat. It's got a bit of a bow in it this way. It's not noticeable, and if we put it on the roller, no one's ever going to notice it, I don't think. Yeah, sole distributors seems a bit of a strange thing, but anyway, that's what they are. I'm going to try and dress it up. If it doesn't, we'll melt it down and have another go at it, but it's a difficult casting to do because of the size of it and because it's brass and because of the shape and the number of letters and all that stuff. It's not terrible. This S needs to go with a Dremel because it's filled up, and this D. I'll sit down and do that, and the O on there. Some fine detail that didn't come through real well, but it'll clean up and some black paint on it, and I think it'll be all right. We were on to a genuine one of these, and I still know where it is. But it's not for sale apparently. It'd be very nice to have it. But we've got one cast now, and it'll just have, basically it'll just have 4 bolts on it. Hold it on that. I think it's got 1 bolt in each corner, a screw in each corner. just to clamp it down, but it's got to be flat on the back first to go on the sheet, on the motion cover. So anyway, big plate. So that's what I picked up on Sunday, and then I come basically straight back down here, and I was here by about dark, and unloaded the van and went to bed and got up and went to work. Not even for a loaned copy. No, wasn't available. It's on a wall in the scrapyard, and they're not getting rid of it. And it's not much. It's not much. Yeah, there's a message come through. I can't remember what I was even saying then. Anyway, that's the plate for that. Not much good making a copy of the original, because the shrinkage on this is about probably 15 millimetres on the pattern. So if we took this off the original, we'd find that it would be 15 mil smaller by about 4 mil smaller or 5 mil smaller this way. So shrinkage is a bit of an issue. So new pattern, new job, all done. Anyway, that was that. Let's have a look outside. What everyone else did. I've got some lights out here, not very many. We're going to turn some more lights on. There's a little flood there. We'll turn these lights on. Still dark. You'll notice that there's no railway locomotive here anymore. Peter, you're probably right. You just drill some holes in it and clamp it down, but they stick up through the end anyway. You could tap it perhaps and bolt it to a couple of bits of flat with some countersink umbracos through the top and bolt them down. I think that's probably the best way forward, is just drill it and tap it to start with, and then machine the top flat, and then undo the screws and run a drill through them for proper screws into the plate. There's a whole lot of dark back here, so we're going to go and turn some lights on. Should have done this before. If we get round here without falling down the pit or anything, we'll be doing really well. Across the railway line here, in the dark. Here we go. Ah, splat. No pit. Done it before in the daylight. Now, oh, that's better. Now we've got some lights. Excellent. Track laying equipment and a trolley, and the tracks across. A little excavator. Hopefully it's big enough to unload the milling machine next week. It's got wheels on it. Run up and down the line, etc, etc, etc. I don't know, I guess it runs the back wheels or something. I'm not sure how that works. Anyway, some curve grease for railways and a track drill. New track here, which is pretty nice. The boys have been flat out on this for a while and got it sort of all sitting down nice, and bit of ballast around it and stuff further down. But there was enough to move this coach here and move the locomotive out and move the coach back in. And move the tender out and move the locomotive back in and move the tender in afterwards and cut them all up. I wasn't here when it was done. It was that day when I was in Brisbane. But here we go. So it's all coupled up. So progress. We can get up there and play trains now. Last minute little things people are working on. There's an inspection hole and mud hole flange here under the boiler, which is lapped with a lead seal. That's it sitting there on the jack. You see that? That's lapped into that hole above there, and it's got 4 bolts in it. So that the thing sitting on the trolley jack there goes in the hole there with 4 bolts. And they've been lapping that, trying to get the seal. So that'll be fun. But they've been at it for about 4 or 5 days, I think, at this point. They're all just things that they're into. But there's progress. I believe in that steam dome up there on the roof, which is supposed to go on there. The dome's probably got a possum living in it. No one's particularly keen on moving to find out, but I'm guessing it'll have to happen at some point, because when the safeties are set and everything, that dome's got to go back on. Hey, Kevin. So that's where it's all happening. It's a bit big to run on a table. It's only a little loco. I think it weighs all up about 100 tonne. 80 or 90 tonne. It's only a little fella. But .060, I think it was originally a tank engine, and they converted it across to a tender engine and put a tender behind them. But not really a New South Wales railway expert, so I can't really tell you that with any confidence. Anyway, there's other work. This coach here is being repainted. It's a work in progress. There's people working on that, which is awesome. Bit of a job. So the rail motor, I believe, is pretty complete and sort of restored. I'm not sure when the last person ever had that running, but it's diesel, I believe. And this is a sleeper coach here, which some of the boys have been sleeping in, crashing in. It's reasonably comfortable inside, I guess. It's a bit sort of pokey, 1950s and musty. And there's another carriage here that's sort of, it says it's awaiting restoration, which is probably very true. Given. That's terrible. So that's what's happening here. So That's the Glenray stuff. I don't know if there's much else I've got to report, to be honest. That's the exciting things that have happened. 20 minutes into live stream and we've sort of run out of time and things to say. Bit crap. There is still care calendars for order. I said I was going to cut it off at the end of the last month, but nothing happened and it all a bit mixed up. So we really haven't got enough orders, so I've kept it going. If anyone's interested, the Shed and Tail Steam Shed calendar is really nice, I think, colour calendar. If you're interested in a Christmas gift or something for someone or something for yourself, or just to support Shed and Tail Steam Shed, which is our club here, hit us up for a calendar, absolutely. I know some of you have already ordered, which is really awesome. So that's what... John's late. Should be off to bed. He should be. Yes. I did call and see John on the weekend. Got a couple of Blockbuster handles in the car for you, John. I'll drop them off on the weekend. If I get that far, I should, I think. I guess we could get up here and play steam trains. Oh my gosh, I'm sore. Oh, snow foot bait. We've got a tender, a bit of coal scuttle and a water tank. We're not going to play with anything because I don't know how much of this stuff's all locked out and stuff. We've got a steam gauge. And a vacuum gauge. We've got a regulator here on the front, I'm guessing. And we've got a water gauge, which is there. Without messing, it looks like the water gauge has got a new valve on it, which is a bit nice. I don't know, we've got some sort of water pump arrangement, or this is actually an injector, I think, here. Bracket injector. We've got a hole for fire. We've got a lever there that looks like it's probably a handbrake. We've got a brake valve up there. I think we've got a turret up here. Let's see if we can actually walk forward here without killing ourselves. We've got a turret up here, if you can see that, with some valves coming off. This one's not obviously connected to anything. Things like turbo generator and stuff, I guess. If we go over here, there's a fold down seat here for the driver, or for the fireman, another one for the driver. We've got, I guess the driver's on this side. We've got forward and reversing gear. We've got another valve for something else, I don't know what that does. We've got a cool, it comes across here for a whistle valve. Guessing in the roof. And we've got a special spanner for something. Don't know what the spanner's for. We've got a drain there, which is a copper funnel. these, which must actually be test cocks, I imagine. Boiler test cocks. This one and this one, I think, are the high and low water level because there's only one gauge, guys. Got a light up here. Two lights up here, but I don't know where they're plugged in. In fact, I'm suspicious they're not plugged in at all because I can see the plug over there. Anyway, I don't know anything about steam locomotives at all, but I thought you might want to look. They've got windows in this side which you can't get anywhere near to actually look out, so I'm not sure why they've got windows. I guess it helps visibility. This round one in the side seems a bit useless. It's only for looks. Got backhead plugs here. See, you will probably see if I stand in the light. It's one on each side. Anyway, I think I probably know enough that I could probably move it if I needed to, if it was in steam, but I also know enough to know that I probably couldn't stop it if I needed to, if it was moving. So there we go. We're quite away from the ground. Only a little tender on it. There we go. John says, where is the Johnson handle? Is there a Johnson handle? Probably is. Good question. There's a lever on the side there that does something. I reckon that probably is a blower valve down the side there. No machine shop here, no. They've got drill press and a bench grinder. Mark says has a reversing screw. There you go. What else? They've got a vise, parts washer, oil drum, short piece of railway line and a ladder. That's got about it. That's it. Crowbar. So this in the brake here too, which I'm guessing is, that might be water bypass. That one, I'm not sure. Could be brake on the tender. It's like the engine brakes and tender brakes. There's two valves here, one there and one there. It must be something to do with water. It's got a bypass pump, I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to attempt to get down, which will be a bit variable, because I'm old. Old people and heights don't mix. I don't let anyone believe that, but old people just don't mix. Oh, my arms ache. I have a machine shop, and that's sort of one of the things that I bring to the party here. So anyway, Bayer Peacock and Company, 1878, Manchester. Bayer Peacock have been making in locomotives for 22 years before they got to this one. So this is quite a modern locomotive. Quite a bit more complicated than an 1856 model. But there we go. Safety valves up on top there. So this dome must have something else in it. I don't know what that valve is up there. No idea. Not. Just so we know, I'm not a locomotive person. Got a tank on here which is probably sand or water or oil. Could be oil now. Could be sand, could be oil. I don't know. Yeah, I think it's sand. For the wheels to stop slipping. This one here. This box here, don't know what that does. John, I think this is it here. This is the reversing lever, which operates on the screw, like most modern locomotives by this stage. There's your compensating lever. If we have a bit of a look in here, we've got balance weights on that, so you can actually move it backwards and forwards and lift the lengths up and down. And then there's Stephenson's in there. It looks like there's a Stephenson's link with two links there that operate the valves. So very similar to the bowler, only quite a bit bigger. We could, I guess, if we really wanted to, get down the pit and have a look underneath, but we'd probably get all dirty. And I got a clean shirt on when I got home because the other one was full of sawdust. Anyway, had a look at a railway locomotive. Shunting, until recently, was carried out with this four-wheel drive Howard, which is basically a shunter. Not a bad little tractor, but everyone's too scared to run it here at the moment. Australian made, four-wheel drive. Pretty serious little tow tractor. It's got a seat on either end so that you can run it forwards or backwards. I think one of the sacrificial pins in the gearbox are gone at the moment, so it needs a new one of those to be four-wheel drive again. So that's kind of sort of about it. And we could go down the line there to the next fence, to the gates. There's a set of points further down and then another set of points, and that comes out across the road, and further down is that it crosses Arara Way, or it used to, and then past that there's a bridge across the Arara River, and then it comes around into Glenray Station. I think that's the plan, to get that back up and running like that. But this is a siding off the actual Dorigo line. Take care, John, with that. Don't overdo it. Don't hurt your back getting back up. That's all I'm saying. Old people should know the limitations. So out that door there is the main Dorigo line. high pressure radiators and all those sort of things built on those, I imagine. I'm going to say that because someone had to. So the Mandorigo Road line runs past the front door there and out there, that way, and that's sort of not anywhere near as nice as this bit of rail actually. This has been recently laid, it's sort of rotten. This one over here is not so good either, but they did shunt the engine around on there without damaging anything, so it should be, it's reasonable. But I believe that the major game plan on this is to get this line and shed to the potential that it's a steam depot for visiting heritage locomotives, because there's not really one in northern New South Wales, so it's a bit central, and it's probably a $5 million or $20 million project, but it's doable, they say. Anyway, reason I went to concrete, because they're better, cheaper, last longer, easier to lay. That's probably the big thing, I think, with concrete sleepers. The gauge is built into them and you just got to clip everything together, whereas wooden sleepers have all got to be drilled and gauged and moved, and wooden ones only have a fairly set life, and wood's getting a bit scarce. Concrete permanent way is sort of the standard now. There are some metal sleepers around, but they rust out too. Concrete seems pretty permanent. So that's kind of why concrete's the thing. And not only that, there's a couple of thousand of them sitting in the yard here, which sort of helps. And if you've got a gang laying and concrete's certainly a much simpler thing to put down, I think, than anything else. Track tamper, is that right? Maybe the thing. No idea what it does, but it runs backwards and forwards. So this is a £110 line, I think Stuart said. Which is mainline line coming through here. It's bolted up and sort of welded and bolted up and so forth and so on. It's a bit of a bitzer. But it drops back to about £80 out there, which is £80 to the foot, something like that. I think that's how they work it out. So I know there's 800 sleepers and it's about 800 metres down to there's 1,000 sleepers and there's 800 metres down to the bridge, I think. Might be 800 metres all the way to Glenray Station. Anyway, I'm not sure. There's enough sleepers there. There's probably not enough rail. Those clips are about $6 each, and if you need 4 of them per sleeper, you've got 800 sleepers, or 1,000 sleepers. That sort of adds up pretty quickly. The railway crossing on the level crossing on the main road is the expensive bit. And if you wanted to put a turnout out onto the main line, that means a lot of accreditation and complicated, and everything's got to be up to a bit different standard. So that gets expensive too, and the turnout's a few $1 million to put one in. So that's where we're at. That's what's happening here at Glenray, Cuddlewood Ventures. Anyway, I don't know if I've got much else to do. If there was lights down the steam shed, we'd go and have a look at that, but there isn't, and I've just got junk stacked up everywhere. William called in today and dropped off a floor crane, which is quite a good looking jigger. It might be a useful thing when we're moving stuff around. It's here for storage anyway for now. The shed's slowly getting cluttered and filled up. I think there's still a long way to go, but I have to get some actual storage cupboards and things down here to put stuff in. It's at the moment a pretty quick sort of a thing. There's a possum trap there. We've got a possum problem here. Probably a rat problem as well. But we're working on them. There's a couple of broken rat traps. I haven't actually found a good one yet. But we'll keep looking. Anyway, that's what's happening. That's my life at the moment. That and hammer handles and axe handles. So tomorrow's another big day. And then I've got half a day on Friday. And then I'm back up the coast, I guess, after hopefully putting a set of tyres on the car. So that's the intention. Anyway, I might call it, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for the conversation, the chat. Really appreciate you taking the time. I'm sort of at a bit at odds at the moment because it's all over the place with moving and stuff. Got to get stuff organised. But that's where we are. Anyway, I'm out, guys. Be kind to each other, especially to me. And yeah, it's time to go to bed. We'll catch you.